Welcome to Phil and Ted's Sexy Boomer Show. I'm Ted Bonnet.
I'm Phil Proctor. Our guest,
GloZell Lynette Green, who is a YouTube star.
yes.
Is that fair to say?
Hello, this is GloZell. Is you okay? Is you good? Because I want to know. First of all, my friend Shelly has me here, and I'm wondering what in the world she done got me into. What? What in the world?
You have no idea. You think YouTube
What
is
is
strange.
happening?
Yeah.
You're in deep.
You can't say it again.
You're in deep beep.
I got a cousin over there working this little thing here. Like, well, help me. Where am I?
Oh, you have
Hit
no
the
idea.
button.
My cousin
Hit the button.
is right there. Like, what?
Yeah, no, that pause button, that cough button, you
It's
won't
not a
disappear.
cough button. It's a curse button.
Yeah, it's a curse
Is that
button.
what? Because I never knew what a cough
Yeah,
drop-
right next to the sign says not working.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Michelle, how did you rope me into this?
Consider yourself lucky.
I feel privileged.
So, GloZell, and am I saying that correctly?
Yes.
GloZell.
Yes, but
GloZell.
I want you to put a little more like stank on it. GloZell.
Glow.
GloZell.
Yeah.
Hit the
yeah.
glow.
Okay.
Yeah,
GloZell.
that
And
part.
Lynette.
As in
That's-
Yes.
that I've heard Lynette, but I've not
Right.
heard Lynette. You were raised Lynette.
Well, I'm actually messy. I'm a very messy person, but
Yes, I saw your hoarding. I saw your hoarding YouTube videos.
I've come so far, but if you notice, like I parked my car way far away because the house is finally together, but the car is still a hot mess.
Well, okay. So to explain what you do is very interesting. You are a YouTube influencer, personality.
Feel free to put like sensation,
Oh,
like
yeah.
star,
Sensation.
queen on
Okay.
that.
Now,
Queen of
this
the
is
internet.
interesting because we've been talking about YouTube and we've been talking about how YouTube is taking over the business in every imaginable way.
Yeah,
it is it's the fruition of democratized media where you can. I mean, I looked at your videos and it's like, what did you do? How did you shoot that? Well, I mean, it didn't even look like an iPhone.
Well, no, you just had like your little camera, and then you had to take it and stick it into the computer, and try to do all those things. Way before everybody had a cell phone.
So when did you start doing YouTube's videos?
Started YouTube 2003.
Oh my, that is early.
I'm what you call an OG.
Yeah,
Or
you-
original.
Why,
Yeah.
that's almost 20 years ago.
Good
Has
work,
it been?
Phil.
Goodness gracious. Womp womp.
He's a bomber.
That's right.
A bummer, yeah.
No, but anyway, so
Wait, are you silent for real? Because you're not gonna talk.
No. I'm sitting back and listening to this and taking notes.
that's Shelley Herman who brought.
Yeah, you booked her today
Yeah,
for
you-
us.
Yeah, she's a booker. You a bomber and a booker.
Yeah.
well,
and a
and
boomer
she's also a dear friend.
and a black. That's the show.
Right,
That's the new
right,
show.
right.
It's the 4 Bs.
There
No,
you
no,
go.
I wouldn't have suggested you speak to GloZell unless I knew that she was like the real deal. She is the original. When you meet somebody and she says, I have a dream and this is how I'm going to do it, and you look around at your friends and go, okay. And then she went out and did it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So
By
you-
the way, Shelley's been on our show before, and you've written a wonderful book about your years.
peacock tail.
Yeah, her years as a page
Yes.
in Burbank. If anybody remembers the show, it's well worth listening to again, for the first time. Really, it's
Yeah, you can find it on our
Really
website, sexyboomershow.com, and all your favorite podcast platforms. GloZell.
Yes, that's
GloZell.
better. I want to
GloZell.
practice that.
You have over 4.5 million subscribers on your podcast channel.
Yes, on my YouTube. Yes,
That's
that's just
crowded.
the YouTube.
Wow.
Yeah, and
Did I
of
say
course,
podcast?
You said
Yeah.
podcast.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I'm not going to
On
correct
my
my
tube.
elders.
No.
here.
Oh!
I'm just not.
Ouch.
it's on the
close
My
to-
Tube
I can
channel.
see this is going to be a long
This is-
hour. Now you have 4.5 million subscribers, and then you do these videos. The first
But
one,
that is on YouTube. I don't want you to neglect the over a million on TikTok and over a million on Instagram and all the others.
so
Oh,
you're
you use all those
so you
platforms.
are a social media star.
Well, if you want to.
Yeah.
Okay. all
My
right.
goodness. Okay, and that accounts for why some of your videos are horizontal and some of them are vertical.
Hey, wow, you do your study.
Oh, I
Yes,
watched
yes,
you
yes,
last night.
yes,
I
yes.
watched you. And the first one I watched was the Cinnamon Channel.
Oh,
Challenge.
Lord, I almost died.
And if first impressions are the ones that count,
I really almost died there, and then I started laughing and crying because I'm like, I'm taping my death. Is what is
now
happening.
if you want to find this, of course, you can go to YouTube and just
Yes.
Google.
But now, what could you define the Cinnamon Channel to us, please, more articulately than I expressed it?
Do it again. Can you?
Could you kindly?
Now, this was a one-take bit. let me tell you.
Yes. And my voice has not been the same since.
Are you allergic to cinnamon?
Well, everybody is.
Well, if you take a ladle of it, you will be.
She took a ladle. This is what she's sitting in front of the camera.
This lady took a ladle.
And she had she poured a ladle full of cinnamon powder.
Not smart.
And then just inhaled it, ingested.
I thought it was going to be sweet. I was like, I threw this whole rant about what is so interesting about cinnamon. That was the first video I did where other people were suggesting do it. All the other videos I did is about my day, what I'm doing. So finally, I'm like, I'm going to do this cinnamon challenge. I don't know what's so challenging about cinnamon. It makes no sense. So I'll just do more cinnamon to make it a challenge.
Yeah.
Oh, I found out quickly.
That
you could die.
So suddenly she's in like she's obviously seems to be alone, right? No one's there.
No,
right?
no one's there. That was
stress?
a problem too.
I wouldn't invited anybody over either if I was doing that. And so she ingests all this cinnamon, and immediately you realize this is not acting, folks.
Oh, like, this is
And
not
she
good.
starts retching and spitting and was like, wow, okay, how many hits did this get? This got how many downloads? 60 million.
On my channel, and then of course it was on other people's channel, and it's been on television.
I saw
People like to see people in distress.
And people were reposting it.
Yes.
So,
it's
how many millions do you think people...
I think it's billions of hits because I can't go anywhere. I was in Egypt. I was like, cinnamon!
No
it doesn't
kidding.
matter where. I'm like, oh, okay, all right.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is how a star is born.
Or dies, yes. It
you have to
is,
kill yourself
because
to become a star.
close
Right?
to it.
But
That's what happened.
But here's the dangerous part.
Mm-hmm.
Now you have to top that.
That part. That is the crazy part about YouTube.
And you tried to top it with the hot pepper challenge.
Well, some of these challenges you don't think they're going to be a challenge, and then they end up
until
being
you
a
try
challenge.
it. Yeah.
So,
and what is the pickle challenge? Somebody wants to know.
again, Shelley, what is
Rocky the Coco wants
What
to
is-
know. What
y'all
is
did
the
y'all research
pickle?
on me? I needed to do a little bit more. What in the what?
I'm sorry, I come from another world you don't even know.
No,
World of the Frankenstein Theater. It will never die.
just go look at my cousin.
So,
What is happening? No, the pickle challenge.
Wait, she's coming off as the normal one?
I know. Now that is something new. That is something new. You this giant pickle, and you just kind of wrap it with all these kind of different kinds of candies and
candies?
candy.
Candied pickle?
Candy pickles and all kinds of salts and peppers, and then you
munch
then
it.
you eat
This
it.
is like sideshow work.
Yeah, it sounds geeky.
Yeah,
doesn't it?
it's a geek.
Okay.
Do you bite chicken?
Freaky.
Chicken necks? Is
Do-
that
I
Freaky
do
geeky.
not.
No,
okay?
good.
Well, there you
Buy
go.
chicken.
Hey,
You
don't-
mean cooked?
no?
No, you mean
Yeah, that was a thing. You know
Yeah,
about that?
that's the word geek.
Circus geeks were
Yeah.
performers back in the day who
On the
would
side
bite
shows.
chicken
Real
nets.
Yep.
weird.
Chicken.
They were supposed to be like animal creatures.
Hey,
They're
listen.
not half human.
I haven't thought about biting chicken necks for many, many years.
Have you?
And then I saw your video last night, and it was the first thing that came to mind. It was like cinnamon, okay, hot peppers, okay, pickles. What's next? Chicken necks?
I don't know how you go from cinnamon to chicken necks. To
It's an
tell you
age.
the truth,
It's an age thing.
But also, I have to just chime in here that GloZell, above all of the stunt work that she's done with her, challenges, she's a comedian, she's an actor, she's a mom, and this was just an aspect of what
I know.
she did.
In
But,
fact,
yeah.
there's so many videos. We're just picking on you because those
No
were
problem.
it was also probably your biggest video.
Yes.
So
yes,
we
yes,
had to
yes.
bring up the big one first,
course.
right? Mm-hmm. But if you scroll down, it's like, and then you start looking into who you are.
Mm-hmm.
Church raised.
Yes.
Your daughter goes to Catholic school.
Yeah. Wow.
And you
Is
are.
all that on the internet? Okay.
Oh no! I watched your videos. You talked about it. You had a very touching video. I enjoyed about you were talking about the heat you got because you had an opportunity to interview President Obama.
Yes.
That's astonishing.
At the
really.
White
Thank
House,
you.
right?
Yes,
Were you at the White
yes,
House?
yes.
And you did a follow-up video talking about how just because you interviewed him, it stirred up all this hate
Yes, it
directed
did.
at you
Yes.
on the interwebs.
That's true. First of all, you don't say no to the president. Well, I'm supposed to say no.
He reached out to you.
That part, yes, that part.
How?
Well, when he first reached out to me, because I haven't posted anything political like that. That was the first thing, and I'm just like, click, like this can't be real. Like,
he called you. They called you.
You have a call from the White House. Sure.
No kidding.
Click. It's like, how many times you gonna hang up on the president? But anyway, then finally, like, they get through it through my agent. This is like, look, no, like, this is legit. Like, he wants you to interview him. I'm like,
and how did they hear about you?
well, guess what? He's got 2 kids.
Oh, right.
Who are looking at the internet.
Girls, yeah.
And for the most part, how many people on the internet at the time who was an adult that people watch that can come and interview everybody else's kids?
Right.
Cute little white kids at that. Then you got this grown person, you're just like, what? Okay.
Interesting.
Oh, that's charming.
So then, he's very game. He's funny.
Yes, he is.
And I thought it was a great little interview. And then now the thing that went viral.
The thing that went viral was a huge mistake.
Was it a mistake?
Oh no,
because you could have said that was because
it's a gag.
You could have
tell the folks what.
Well, it was a double entendre, I thought, because you said you referenced his 2 daughters and the first wife,
right,
as opposed to first lady. So I thought you were riffing. And
we were not going to riff.
And he said,
with the president in his house.
But that's who Obama is, because he did come around and say, "Do you know something I don't?"
Yes, he's like, his timing was crazy, and I was like, whoa. Now, when we first got there was a couple of things that happened. One, the one thing that scared me, is that they never asked me for a piece of license, my passport, and they didn't ask for anything.
Oh,
and then I was like,
really?
I wonder when they're going to ask for, like my license, or, and I
passport.
realized, they know everything about me already.
Oh, yeah.
Right,
I was like, these people, no. I was like,
deep background.
But I went to the White House a couple times for some news conferences, and even back then in the mid '80s, you had to show a driver's license. You couldn't just get in. And my girlfriend at the time was a peace activist, and they denied her.
What?
Yeah,
Really?
because, it was because it was
some things?
it was the days of SDI, Strategic Defense Initiative, Star Wars, and she was fighting the weaponization of space, and they didn't like that.
Oh, no.
And they did not allow her in the White House, and
Wow.
they knew that when I gave them the name. They knew. That
See,
was way back then. So
they
it's
knew.
surprising in this uptight day and age that they
Well, they
didn't-
knew everything. They knew everything. That's my thought.
You
I
would not
never
have been
had-
invited
they must
if
have.
they hadn't cleared you.
No.
Right.
And they're like, oh, yeah, just walk around. I was like, what in the world? So we go to the garden. They go, just wait here. I'm waiting here. And then all of a sudden there's 3 helicopters. I'm like, okay, there's 3 oh, I love the sound effects. 3 helicopters. And then one lands. And this just majestic, just the class that walked out of that helicopter. I lost my mind. And, I was like,
Wait a minute, you're at the White House and he comes in by helicopter?
he lands in the garden
The Rose Garden.
with in a helicopter. And that was his entrance.
Oh, my God.
And I'm screaming because I'm like, that's the coolest thing I ever done.
Wow. To
What
think
an
that he got in that helicopter before you got there and circled around until you got into place. And
I
then
don't
he
know where
landed?
he was coming from, and maybe he landed, but he was.
Unbelievable.
That's
the
how
power
it
of YouTube.
What a show off.
And everybody in the White House, they're laughing because no one's loud there. I guess, everyone's so quiet. And people are talking into their wrist. I'm like, oh, Lord, I'm about to get shot here, but that's okay. I'm like, I'm loud. And it didn't say it was a library that you couldn't be loud. I'm like, yeah, all right. Then they tell you, okay, don't touch him. Okay, I'm not going to touch him. What do I want to touch him? Do not. Okay, I'm not going to touch the president. Okay, so he's like, hello. I'm like, and I just yell, I'm like, and then I'm like, oh no. This is every 2 seconds. Like, this is when they're gonna shoot me. Then I go, no, they're not gonna do that because I'm hugging him. I'm too close to him. And then I'm going through all these things, and I'm going like this. And he's like, a GloZell, let go of me. And I was like, he knows my name, and he knows my name, and I'm like, oh, okay. And then I messed up with my interview. I don't know a current
you were
reference,
asking-
but I was Barbara Watling.
Yeah,
that
you
day. I
were
was like,
good. You were
killing it.
good.
And then
Yeah.
the lipstick thing, and that's what was on CNN, and that was on Good Morning America, and that was on the Today Show. I'm like, okay,
any publicity's good publicity.
it's all good. And another thing, before I went to the White House, I felt like my cousins, everybody, they didn't know who I was. Now, I could go to like Beverly Hills, oh my gosh, GloZell, like her. But if I go to Inglewood,
Nothing, huh?
Really?
chirp. Well, when I went to the White House, and I went on the airplane and everything, nothing. When I came back, TSA was like, "Girl, I saw that. I saw that. I saw you. I saw you. Hey, this is the girl that interviewed the president. She interviewed the president." I couldn't get out. I could not get out the airport. They took me forever. They're like, oh, I'm like, well, I have nothing. I literally didn't have to show anything to get there. Now everyone, the TSA people wanted to talk. Keisha and Pookie and Ray and them. I'm like, I'm like, so instantly my audience doubled.
Your cue.
Yes.
So
Your IQ.
but then you were obviously you did okay because I saw a video where you were facing the dilemma of being asked to interview Kamala Harris.
Yes. And that's the whole.
Is that happening now? Is this for this re-election or was it for the first election?
It was originally for the first election, and then it has resurfaced again.
Uh-huh.
And it's very interesting because, it's like an ego thing. It's like you started off with the president. I could just stop there because this is not really my thing. So I could just be like,
Where do you go from there?
Yeah, and I also interviewed former Secretary Hillary Rodham Clinton.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'm reading her novel right now.
Oh, that is lovely.
Isn't it? So Kamala, so this would be
By the way, does she become president in her novel?
No, it's just her alter ego, Secretary of State facing major turmoil. Not bad, actually. Question for Kamala. So it's in play now. They want you to do it again.
I have been asked, and then it hasn't been. Nothing has come up.
That's been realized.
Listen, I don't want to put too much pressure on you, but I think the future of democracy
hangs on me.
Hangs on you because Kamala, I've read about her, and I read about her college days, and she's obviously the people who work for her aren't so crazy about her, evidently. But in her younger days, she looked like she was having a lot of fun, and she was very.
What you trying to say there?
And she's brilliant. What I'm saying is,
I keep looking at my cousin for help.
Telegenically, she's pretty stiff and has a hard time. She doesn't have a natural flow to her, unfortunately, at least how she's portrayed. You, on the other hand.
You feel like I can bring out the sister girl in her?
Yes, I think it could.
Get her dancing.
If you could get her to just animate and forget that she's a.
Then she can become president. Is that
no? If you could, I guess saying if you could humanize her, you could probably help gain a lot of votes for that side of the ballot because she's younger, she's
dynamic,
multiracial.
Smart,
brilliant,
right?
And
that multiracial thing was a really good choice.
The Simpsons have already said who is going to win, and they have not been wrong.
Who has? The Simpsons?
Simpsons.
Oh yeah, who they say was going to win? No,
they did.
That's not funny.
I didn't say it was funny. I'm just saying they said. So I'm just like,
well, then now you really do. You really do have a job to do now.
Well, if they see, here's the thing. It's one of those things you're not going to say no.
The country rests on your shoulders.
Well, okay, all right. If that's,
I didn't want to put too much pressure on you, but maybe
really,
not too much.
No, but it would be the challenge, the Kamala challenge.
That part. In the event that they follow up, then I would.
No retching, no spitting, none of that stuff.
No.
I'm sure there'd be some kind of challenge she would be willing to do. Some kind of challenge.
So talk about this business you're in, because this is a business. What's so fascinating about social media, not just YouTube, but YouTube in particular, is starting to, as this article said that was in the, recently, I just saw this a Substack article about how YouTube is out-competing Hollywood.
Definitely.
And that is an amazing thought.
Yeah, everything's like a private screening.
Well,
really,
no, it's just like you have one man, one channel. You can buy. You can basically. You have all the tools at hand now to do everything you had to go through the network to do.
The man
without the suits.
That part,
right?
Yeah.
You decide to do this early on. That's amazing that you were doing this in 2003. What was your thinking when you went into this? What was your goal?
Because I am older. I grew up, but they had cable access shows.
Sure.
So I was always like, okay, well, there's always this offbeat kind of
niche there, right?
Yeah, niche. So when YouTube came over the internet, because there was bloggers, there was vloggers, and there was other kind of things coming up before YouTube, because I have like 300 videos not on YouTube.
Oh, wow.
Really?
Yes. And
In 2003, they didn't really have broadband yet.
And you had to, if it's late at night and you're trying to find a hot spot where you can get some internet, because we didn't have it in the house. You didn't have it everywhere.
Right.
So you go to Starbucks and you can pay for it for a certain amount of time. All this kind of crazy stuff.
Yeah.
So it's very interesting how much easier people have it now. And I'm just like,
Sure do.
You can do it in your underwear.
to do it when you can do it in your
Oh, yes, you can.
But a lot of my videos, it's from the waist up. I am in my drawers.
in your
I'm
underwear.
in my drawers. Yeah. So
You did it for fun, or did you do
I did it for fun because there was no trail of people doing it
No.
before.
Right.
No one did that, and I was doing
You're a
stand
pioneer.
up, and I was like, it wasn't my thing. It was late at night
Doing stand-up.
doing stand up, and my comedy compared to everybody else is more like Sesame Street compared to and you ask your people from your church to come, and there's no telling what they're going to hear from everybody else.
Yeah.
But then I remember one time I got bumped. I had like 10 people come, got bumped. It's Robin Williams. So they had a great time. But now I got to get 10 more people for the next time I want to go up. And, so I was like, ugh.
That's tough.
Oh,
Yes.
you started this in Florida, where you
No,
grew
here.
up?
I considered being professional like when you move to California.
What comedy club did you break
The
in?
Laugh Factory, the Comedy
The big
Store,
ones.
a
Great.
Ha Ha, Comedy Union, you name them.
You
You're
must
like
have been
Monday night
good.
you're here,
That's
Tuesday
great.
night you're here, Wednesday night, and you
Yep.
hope to get on, and
It's still
maybe
going on.
somebody show up. Yeah, and that's when you find out some crazy stuff. You're
Oh,
like,
yeah.
these people that I see on television, they're sleeping on the couch. They're on somebody's
Yeah,
floor.
yeah.
I'm like, but I know you, who you are.
Yeah.
And it's
Hey, Jay, what are you doing
it
here?
is so nuts. I'm like, I just saw you on Def Comedy Jam. I'm like, and that doesn't equate.
It is quite a
money,
world, isn't
which
it?
also helped me to go, you know what, this YouTube thing, hey, if I got 10 people watching, oh, wow, now I got like 300 people. That's the equivalent of a comedy club.
That's right.
And I can do that in my drawers. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And it got to where you got the valet park. It's not like, oh, the comedians here. Y'all can park free over here. No, you either gonna valet park, and as a young woman, because this is over 20 years ago when I came here,
Yeah.
23 years ago, it's not like the comedy clubs are in Bel Air or Beverly Hills. We are in LA.
Yeah.
And I'm like, excuse me, sir, can you get off my car so I can go home? Like, this is what you're dealing with. You're stepping over people. Like, it's in the street. Like, we're not in the kindest, nicest people in the neighborhood, and I cannot valet park all the time. I tried, but with $20, $30 a pop, and you're trying to tip people, and you're just like, you can't do that.
Well,
and then you get bumped, and you got to come back the next night, and
Tough deal.
right, and you're not getting paid.
So your brand of humor, is it fair to call it absurdist humor?
Or surreal.
More absurdist, but I grew up watching the Beverly Hillbillies, Mork and Mindy, the Jeffersons. Where you could sit there and you can. I wanted to be a part of Andy Griffin's family. And so my mom, my grandparents, the priest, the rabbi, everybody could sit there and watch it. It was funny.
Family entertainment.
Well, that's what they
inclusive.
called it then. You have
That's
family
right.
entertainment that I'm just like, I don't want to sit here with my daughter and watch this. That's changed what family humor is. So I knew that you can be funny without the profanity or anything like that. And that's what my comedy has always been based on.
And now we're coming
The
full
carabinets.
Profundity,
Yeah.
not profanity.
Yeah, and a lot of physical. So that
physical, no question.
I mean, that translate in all languages. You know what's
that's
going
right.
on when you about to die from cinnamon.
yeah, but
No matter what language.
how many have you done, by the way?
I have over 3,000 videos
that's-
on YouTube.
And that's the secret, right? It's throughput.
Yes, people are like, oh, you just do hits after hits. It's like for every hit, you've got like 100 that didn't, but you have to keep posting.
Right.
You have to keep going. And just last night, my daughter is 7, and she's doing her own videos.
Well,
she's,
I
so
saw
that's-
that video of where you were coming back, and it was very high production value. Your daughter was so cute. She was a
Thank
little
you.
baby girl,
Oh.
and you got a lot of hits. You had like 800,000 hits on that one, or downloads on YouTube.
You must be bruised.
I was like, see, production value pays. but not necessarily because you got far more hits on real rough and ready stuff.
Yes, yes.
So what's the secret?
I would say, for the most part, people want to know you, and you want to be consistent because the temperature of things change all the time. There's some things I'm like, well, should I take that down because we don't say these words anymore,
right? Yeah.
Or we don't do that.
Firesign Theater, same thing.
Cancel culture is like they're not joking, and they don't care who you are.
Yeah.
So I remember that Hunger Games, when the Hunger Games came out, I watched it, and I was like, these kids are killing each other. I was like, I don't know if I like this. There was like, take her down off the internet, take her down. Like these kids that
Really?
you're just like, what? So I'm like, okay, so I have kids. My audience are kids. They seem to stay young, no matter how long I'm on there. The average age still seems to be
With
young.
the Cinnamon Challenge. Can't imagine why.
What? Well, there you go. Like someone 5 years old, they still know it.
Right.
10 years from now, somebody 5 years
It's
old
a
is still
perennial.
seeing it.
It's a perennial.
They think like, I can't go to Disney. Don't go to Disney with me. We're not going to take a step. We're not getting anywhere. So they kind of stay young, even though people are like, I used to watch you, but now my kids watch you. I'm.
That's
kid.
wonderful.
And you can make a living doing this.
You can from time to time, just like anything. What worked for me was when when the first strike happened, which was almost like about 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Everybody is not working, and people were on the internet. They're home. So I'm like, that boosted. So the COVID, when we had a pandemic, I'm like, thank you.
Yeah, your audience
you're sitting at home.
shut-ins.
Now it's a new world. I mean, the statistics are with YouTube that 10% of all television viewing is now on YouTube. And the big trend, according to YouTube, as a presentation I saw, was that people are now watching it on TV in their living rooms in evening as primary entertainment because they don't want to be distracted on their devices any longer. So now it's becoming, and I subscribe to YouTube Premium, so there are no more commercials for $14, best deal in town.
Yes.
And I watch everything. I haven't had cable television in 20 years.
And I loved television. Love.
We all grew up on it.
I can't believe that I don't watch it.
No. Well, when you go back to it after being
believe
away
it.
from it, it's like such noise and trash. And it's like and you realize the legacy networks are fading out now.
Yes.
And so
TV
YouTube
is going away.
Yeah, it's going away. And so that brings circle to the YouTube world where you don't really need to go get a syndication deal.
No.
You can just do your own thing, cut out the middleman, work on lower volume, and do quite well.
But now, do you monetize it just from your popularity? That when you go out to do a show, you can. How do you monetize it?
There's different ways to monetize, and one way is who I am. So when I'm like, I'm going to be at the Laugh Factory, or I'm showing up here, then people buy tickets, and
you get a piece of that.
Or like here, I wrote a book, and here it is, and you can buy that on Amazon.
Oh yeah, everybody's doing that.
Here, I've got the stickers and T-shirts and the mugs and that. And
merchandising.
So that is one way that has from the popularity of YouTube. Also, you can do brand deals where I just have, this sitting in the background. I don't have to talk about it.
She's holding a bottle of something.
Liquor? Is it?
No.
No.
Have you used them? And
yes, all of them.
What do you think is the happiest for you? The one that brings in the most dough or the most awareness?
Sometimes the ones that pay the most is not the one that brings you the most awareness.
I would think so. Yeah.
When people pay you and they're like, well, we want this, and this set, and dun, dun, dun. It's like, well, the best thing a company could do is like, this is what we want to portray.
Here's the product.
Do what you want to do. Then let us see it and approve it.
Now,
don't tell me all of this stuff and then you're like, well, what is a hit? That's not what I do.
Now, listen, what's interesting is that goes all the way back to the early radio days when they used to integrate the product into the stories, into the comic stories that they were telling.
When they were buying the
Isn't
whole
that
half
interesting?
hour.
Yeah.
You're listening to Phil and Ted's Sexy Boomer Show. I'm Ted Bonnet.
I'm Phil Proctor.
And our guest is GloZell.
GloZell.
GloZell Lynette Green.
Graceful as a gazelle.
YouTube
It's
star.
GloZell.
And Shelley Herman, her parole officer?
No,
She's a good promoter, let me tell you.
ardent fan.
Okay.
And I'm her husband and I are both elders at the same church, and one of the reasons that I stayed at the church, I was like, That's my crush from the show Taxi. That's my crush from the show Taxi.
Wait a
That's my-
minute. Wait
That's
a
my
minute.
crush. Yeah, I'm like, and when y'all got married, I'm like,
And Shelley, what is the name of your husband?
My husband is Randall Carver, and he played the character of John Burns on the first season of Taxi.
Wow.
Yes.
And he is still an actor, in case anybody's interested.
yeah.
And GloZell is also an actor. And I saw you when I was so impressed when you did It's a Wonderful Life
Oh, thank you.
at the church.
Yes,
and
thank you.
Oh,
I mean,
what fun that must have been.
and she, right now, most people who know GloZell know that she's, a bigger than life personality.
Oh, come on,
when
really?
But when she gets down to being an actor, she's an actor.
I appreciate
This
you
is a
so
whole
much.
different.
Well, I saw some
Yeah.
fancy acting on one of your videos, which was I think my personal favorite.
Oh.
Yeah.
It was when you were bird watching with your white family.
Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness!
hilarious.
I'm like, what is she doing? I'm like, we're just watching birds.
So you have a sister-in-law?
Yes,
You have a
well,
sister-
my cousin-in-law.
your cousin-in-law's white.
Yes,
And
as
so-
white can be.
And she's big into bird watching.
Yes, I was like,
So you decided to you made this into a bit.
well, I mean, I was like, well, we're here. I film everything, so I'm just like, what? And she's just like,
I never thought of that.
I'm like,
Is-
what?
Is bird watching
Is
a
it-
white thing?
yes, it is. We're gonna fry a bird. We'll fry it, but we're not gonna watch it.
We're gonna eat that bird.
I did not. I did.
Why would we just watch the bird?
I did not know that.
And it's doing bird things. It's not like it's like
Well,
birds
birds do
singing,
bird
dancing.
things.
Yeah, but at one point you were captivated, and your
Wasn't
and your
animated.
cousin immediately said, "There goes your street cred."
So yeah.
So I was watching some of the other videos where you kind of got, you got down and were saying, this anger thing's out of control because you're taking the temperature of society.
Yes.
You're seeing your immediate feedback.
Yes.
It doesn't seem like those videos get the same kind of hits that coughing up pickles gets.
all right, that is
So that I guess a good word for it is scatological humor. It's not just YouTube, like you say, TikTok.
It's also scattered.
I'm investigating it too. I'm watching this stuff like Mr. Beast. He's like one of the biggest guys on YouTube.
He is.
And
Really?
he's a likable. I think the bottom line here is you're all likable.
Well, thank
You all have very friendly, beautiful faces, and you're likable.
Well,
And
you
I
got to
think-
do what. See, people know me now for challenges. I have a BFA in musical theater from the University of Florida. If I started off talking about that and Shakespeare and this, and if I was singing in opera and doing those things, maybe that'd be different. But what happened was I'm doing comedy. I'm like, I'm going to just sit my things over here. I'm talking about my push-up rock going to help me get my man back. I'm
Oh,
doing,
that was a great bit,
and I'm
by the
like,
way.
people believe that's what?
Wait a minute, you went through that pretty quickly. Let's say that for the white folks listening. The name of that one is.
That's only people. That's except for my cousin, right? I'm not thinking that my family's.
surprised.
So
What was the name of that bit?
my push-up bra helped me get my man back.
Yeah, I love that one.
Oh,
Or how to
that's
cook
nice.
how to cook Thanksgiving dinner in your dishwasher.
Yeah.
Or, and then this one, I touched a sloth.
Oh,
And why did Mary have a little lamb? That was a good one. And
Wonderful
Yeah.
stuff.
2020 killed my family.
oh.
That was quite a bit. What was that about?
You got to elaborate. I did 3,000 videos.
Oh, you don't remember that one?
Was it a COVID thing?
I think it was tied to COVID, and then there was a why my marriage is falling apart. This is
okay.
where you get very honest with your. I mean, I think
Right.
one of the
That's
lines
another
that
thing that really works on
is honesty.
this
That's
intimate
what always
family.
worked for Howard Stern was his honesty.
That
you
is
know?
true.
And like
his
it-
black sidekick.
Yeah. One of your videos, you were saying, I just got, tell me if I'm incorrect, but I think I remember just saying, I just got invited to interview Kamala Harris and I'm getting evicted.
Yes, it's so crazy.
Wow.
Because I never can say this word right. The algorithm,
Yes.
with YouTube changes so much. Because there's a time I was balling. I'm in Forbes. I'm in this and that, and then it's just like they flip a switch. I'm like, you don't care. Like I've been here forever. Before anybody even knew. When you're getting picked at for being a YouTuber. What
So
is
you're saying
that?
your download counts are variable based on things out of your control.
Totally
Which is
not
the
in your
algorithm. To explain the algorithm, that's the secret sauce that TikTok has mastered, and why the Chinese will never give it up, of how to direct viewers to like-minded content so that they go down a rabbit hole and never come up for air again.
And it'll change just like the rest of them. Like Vine was hot. There was this thing called Vine, and you're just like,
yeah, I remember
what?
Vine.
Okay, now we went from long form, which was like a minute, to 6 seconds. So you had to know how to edit and get the story told and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And then one day, I mean, it didn't like kind of dwindle down. It just left. I still don't know what happened to Vine.
Well, and a lot of this content is exhausting. I'm not getting much out of this except shock and awe. Now I understand that there's a new generation coming up that see through that or evolve past that. They're calling it the new wave movement of YouTube.
Really?
And what they're talking about is long form, slowed down.
In French.
Traditional media presentation is what they're doing.
En français.
They're coming around full circle.
And
La
now
nouvelle vague. Alors, hein?
Oui. And now you're getting like rewarded for longer content.
Really?
Right.
So your algorithm.
You go, girl.
Changes
Algorithm.
and it helps you out, and you're just like, okay, all right. And I'm one of those people who have still been still there. A lot of people started when I started. Well, not a lot of people, wasn't that many people, but have gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So does this mean you don't
You have a
have
good
to
track
have
record.
like bells and whistles?
You
and-
do not have to have bells and whistles because you just need your audience. Like there's some people who don't make money off of YouTube, but because they can do a live show or do a meet and greet or sell a book.
Yeah.
Or
Which
whatever.
you did.
Yes, I've done all of them.
Yeah.
What's the name of your book?
Is you okay?
Is you okay?
That's your basically your slogan.
Yes, is you okay?
But also, if I'm remembering this correctly, you had a TV series.
Yes.
So
Really?
rather than going the traditional network route, GloZell was able to have her own personal was a reality series.
Yes.
So-
So you, and it's very interesting because it wasn't until I don't even know how many years ago when it hit me that because I kept thinking like someone's gonna see me and I can be on television. I grew up on television.
Yeah.
And even at that, when I say that I'm gonna do this, my mom's like, well, what station? Why don't you just kick me in the head? Like I'm just squat. Because you can't find it on NBC, CBS,
right.
ABC.
It's all you
What
have.
station? So there's still that that group that if I could just get that thing, but
Maybe this was an algorithmic thing. When I was watching your stuff on YouTube, I saw huge hits, and then there was a time away, and then you're back. Like a year or two ago, it seems like maybe it's much more than that now. But that was the perception I had.
yes,
That you came back
You
and
took time off.
and so I assumed, she took time off to have a baby and do her thing, and then you said something about Vanity Fair.
Okay, so when you say take time off, it's like being motivated, not being motivated, and I'm going through a divorce. I'm like, am I going to leave? What was going to happen and where I'm going to go? And this child, I told her she's going to be an IVF doctor because I have to recoup some of this money. Like you have these, the embryo, the egg, the embryo chilling in the refrigerator for a while or however they call it. I'm like, I got a baby on layaway. Like you still paying for this. So I'm like, people put clothes on layaway. I got a kid on layaway. And so that took a lot of money. And then they're like, well, you can probably carry it, but maybe not. Because I was 43 at the time. I know black don't crack, but I'm 51 right now. Okay.
Oh, wow.
My cousin's like, what? You look good. He was trying to holler, but
you
no.
look like
Okay.
a young Whitney Houston.
Okay, so I kind of went in all this debt, but that's okay because money is flowing, and then things are just not going well. You got
to put your energy in.
You got to put your energy in it, and when I was doing videos at home, and home is not right, you're just like, well, what?
Baby crying in the background isn't good for humor. Is
And
it?
the dad just like, you're just like, okay, where can I? This is my studio. The home is my studio. Can you turn off Bruce Lee? I'm trying to be funny here, and it's just like you're just moping around here and there. But things come and go, and circumstances change. So I wasn't trying to not be there.
Yeah.
It was just like, well, as soon as this is over with, then I can get back to it. But it just kept going. It just went on, and then comes a pandemic, and it's just like, what am I going to do? Like, this is what I've been doing. And then now here's a new wave. And it comes back, and now I'm excited, and it's great. And my daughter's older, and she's doing videos with me, and she's doing her own videos. She want to do her own thing. It's like,
Well, she's a little ham.
that part.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's always been very mature. But I say this because I'm like, she was chilling in the refrigerator for a while, observing, just listening to whatever they play in there, because she's way older than the kids her age.
Does she say, Mommy, what was that orgasm one about? Going to Beverly Hills for the orgasm shot?
Oh, the O shot, yeah.
Gee,
I'm going to have a fun evening tonight. I'll tell you that.
everything happens in Beverly Hills professionally.
Everything.
Beverly Hills
If you
happens
got
in
the
Beverly
cash,
Hills.
we've got the treatment.
Yes,
And
or
then-
if you have the views, because, a lot of things I do on trade.
Yeah, I got a feeling you didn't pay cash for that thing.
No, but it was worth it.
Did it really work?
It was worth it.
We should explain. People are probably asking.
No, it's
People who want to know.
please tell me about it.
Well, there's a thing called the O shot. Well, this took a turn.
Yeah.
And you
Really?
and you insert right in like the raisin part. I don't know what I can say here. I don't. And
The center of attention.
there you come. And makes you more sensitive,
Oh.
super more sensitive.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. Uh-oh.
That part. Oh.
Yeah.
That's a big ooh.
Yeah. The hook is, if you really want to keep it sensitive,
Yeah.
every 6 months.
Every 6 months. Oh,
You go
renewal?
back and- yeah, there you
It's a
go.
long-term contract, huh?
Hey,
But one of the things with all of this too is that through the ups and downs and everything, GloZell has been always such a light. And I could say, like, your daughter has never known the times when you were down.
Truly.
Oh,
I mean,
that's
and
wonderful.
But I want her to know. I want her to know
yeah,
one day
yeah,
to be
yeah.
like, Mom she made it through all this foolishness when you were going to court in 2003 I went to court every month. Every other week
This
someone was
is
knocking on the
divorce
door.
stuff?
Yes,
Yeah,
like
horrible, isn't it?
So I'm just like, the person you marry is not the person you divorce.
Yeah, that's very good. Yes.
is completely different, and you've got feelings, and and I was
Yes.
just like, oh, COVID's around. Can somebody cough in his eye? Just do something, But no, he's
you've got a renewed thirst.
yes. I mean, it's all good. and
Rejuvenation.
that part, and I'm just
That
saying
too.
that part. Yes. Oh, just want people to know, like, if you just stick through it, some people stop, and then. That's it.
Yeah.
And you thinking it's not going to last that long. Even me having Ozell, my daughter Ozell, I didn't think it was going to take that long. That's why I was just talking about, I'm thinking, I'll drink some green juice. It's going to be all right.
Yeah,
It's not,
yeah.
no problem. No, I had to have a surrogate. Now, this was a whole nother issue because Black Lives Matter started. And the person who said that they would carry my daughter is as white as snow.
Really? Wow.
White, blonde, blue-eyed, white, and I'm just like, okay. And it got a little scary because they're like, well, why do you just want to have a white baby? I'm like, if the baby is white, it's not mine. What's wrong with you? And then for her, it's like, oh, why you carrying that black baby? And not saying
my
black,
goodness.
saying
Wow.
and I'm just like, oh,
Oreo
Was there
cookies.
a lot of suspense on the on delivery day?
Yes, and she is darker than anybody. I'm like, well, whose kid are you? I'm just like, okay, yes.
We're all trying to take the temperature of culture today.
Right.
And, that's what you're on the front lines of culture.
Yes,
And
yes.
and culture wars, not that you're going to war, but, when you did a piece that I liked a lot. You were mourning the death of Paul Rubens, Pee Wee Herman. And it really inspired you to kind of get real for a minute and talk about we just have to stop being angry with each other all the time. Now, that's not going to sell.
No.
But how do you...
You got a lot of nerve. That's all I can say.
No, I mean,
But how do you reconcile this? I mean, what's your game plan?
It's very interesting that you say that and you bring that up because if we let go of everybody who's done something, I mean, there's been no music left, there's no movies left, because Pee Wee Herman had his issues also, but I'm like, his work was so, that's what you grew up on, and it's just been crazy. So it's hard to talk about. Like, I like this music, but P Diddy produced it. I like this, but R. Kelly sung it. I like this, but
Things are tainted.
So it's like you.
Their
It's like
private lives.
I already do pretty good about not talking about religion too much, even though it's clear if you follow me, especially on my personal Facebook, which is public, you'll see me. I'm at church all the time.
Okay.
But then or political. I've done
Yeah.
2 interviews, 2 political
That's
interviews.
right, you sure have.
And maybe 3 to save the world. But
Please, I'm rooting for you.
otherwise, that I keep it.
If you could melt Kamala Harris, you would win the Nobel.
The Nozell.
Don't count her out.
No, I hope you do that. I hope you do
But
that.
it's also scary because it's like, well, if I don't talk about politics, and then now I'm talking to someone who people have very strong opinions about.
Yeah.
What does that do for me? Like, my audience is young. Oh, I also want to say that it was in Trolls, and the movie Trolls. I played Justin Timberlake's grandma. I just saw him in concert, so
Good for you.
he brought sexy back, and that was great.
Yeah.
What a talented guy. Oh my God.
Crazy talented. So I'm just so proud of my grandbaby. So I play the character Rosie Puff, and he plays Branch.
Does your daughter recognize your voice when she hears it?
She now does. Say, I never said anything. She just assumed everybody knew us.
It's an animated
she's just
feature.
and also like my whole world, because I've done some things on Nickelodeon. I'm like, this whole
I don't know if you know anything about my career, but I'm Howard on the Rugrats. See, that's my secret.
very popular.
Yeah, amazing. Now, did you play a female troll?
Yes.
You know what they're called in Norwegian? A huldra. Okay.
Well, thank you.
A troll is a nissen, and their Santa Claus is called Julenissen, the Christmas troll, or Christmas elf, if you will. And so you're a huldra.
I'm a Hydra. What'd you call me? A
Huldra.
So
This is something I picked up on. Tell me if I'm wrong, but it looks like, to keep that audience momentum going, you try a lot of different things.
Of course.
That's
A
what it
lot of
sounds
different
like.
things. And one of the
Very
things you were doing,
creative.
you seem to be doing what looked like
I'm so scared what's about to come out of your mouth.
no.
You touched on everything more than anybody has ever
Cinnamon.
interviewed me.
It was
Cinnamon
like
gonna
the
come
Hollywood
out of his
promo material. You were doing, you're opening pictures and you're interviewing the stars like
Yes.
Timberlake and stuff like that.
Yes.
And
well, I was in the movie with him.
well, I know, but still, it was a different you. It
Yes.
was a little normal. You weren't
Little
snorting
normal.
any spices with ladles or anything.
No.
But I mean, so it's like you could go in all different directions. It seems like this duality of trying everything that keeps momentum. It sounds
Yes.
exhausting. And at the same time, in a highly politicized environment,
You're stepping
you
on
don't
your
want to
toes.
step on the wrong side of the aisle in any way or capacity.
Right.
And yet you still have to keep your edge and keep it fresh so people keep staring at you.
That part.
How the heck do you come up with that?
Well, you have to stay true to yourself. And for the most part, there's 2 things that people get mad at me about. The number one thing is that I don't dislike somebody because you don't dislike somebody. I can get along with anybody. I can play that middle, and people get upset about that because they want
Really?
you to be upset about this or upset about that. I'm like, I just want
People
peace.
want you to
I
take
am
sides.
Switzerland.
Hopefully that's going to
Yeah.
come into vogue eventually. I think hopefully cyclically all this
Sickness.
terrible anger is going to
I think it's going to implode. It's
Pass.
just so much everywhere.
Yeah.
It's just getting to where you can't get away from it.
Could you look into the future of television entertainment and where you see it all going and what you're going to go for?
I thought you were going to say, with the little time we have left, can you stop talking about politics?
Well, I believe that for me that I found my home on the internet, and it might be something like this where there's, like a view or the talk or something like that where I'll play the one that goes down. People still continue to be mad at me because I don't truly pick sides. People are mad that I'm like, oh, I'm so excited. Oh, I shouldn't even bring up this name because people get upset. But I used to watch the Happy Days, and I know Scott Baio and the family. Now I'm like, he's Chachi to me.
Right.
That's who I see. That's that. And then people are like, how did I hear that? And I'm like, okay, well, I can't post anything. Like death threats they get. I'm like, well,
It's very interesting because you get such a different audience, such a diverse audience on these new media
and internationally,
platforms.
right? How much of your audience is overseas?
well, I went to a lot. I went to London. I was stopped every.
What'd you go to London for?
I went to London because I did a reality show I mean, since
really?
I didn't win, I might as well say because I don't care. But no, I don't think I'm allowed to say. But,
Okay, but it was-
it's an American show that was shot in London.
Biggest
Okay.
Loser?
Wait, what you try?
I'm not. I'm just. Hey, you
yeah,
said you
that's the name of the
lost.
show,
I'm just
yeah.
saying.
Where's
I'm
the
just saying.
eject button? Is this there next to the cough drop?
I was the announcer on Big Brother previously on Big Brother. Oh, yes.
Oh, people say
I
should
think
do
I
that
think
show.
the thread that makes you a success
Thank you.
in doing all the things you do is because it does come down to personality.
Thank you.
And it comes down to the gift of genetics. You have a beautiful, friendly face, and it's a genuine.
Wait,
looking
are
face.
you
It's authentic.
hitting on me?
Yeah, sure. We always do that at the last
Because
3
I
minutes.
was like, what if I can?
You should have seen how Phil came on to Ed Begley when he was on.
Oh, well,
What?
that's another story.
No, I'm
No,
kidding. No,
professional
you
friends.
worked with Ed, didn't you?
Yes,
Yeah, that's why I brought it up.
yes.
Talk about a lovely guy.
Yeah, what a
He
lovely guy.
is like him. He is just an angel on earth.
Can talk to anybody about
And
anything.
Always been that way.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so that is a perfect example of how I want. Yes.
That's your through line, if you will,
Yes,
of like,
thank
you know,
you.
people are going to come to you because you're going to do crazy stuff. You might even do serious stuff, but they trust you as an individual. It's personality driven.
Thank you.
Can I ask you a professional question? Do you have management? Do you have
Yes.
an agent?
I am with UTA. Yes.
Uta Hagen.
Yeah, very
famous actress.
interesting.
And
My God.
how are they managing you? How do they deal with you? How do you deal with them?
Well, it's very
But you're so
interesting
unique.
because people want to pigeonhole you. They're like, well, she's only doing,
That's exactly what I'm
and I'm
getting
like,
at.
well, before
Who
the
is
Cinnamon
she?
Challenge, I have a degree in musical theater. Like, I
Yeah.
can sing, I can play the piano, I can do these things. But,
So what's next?
what is next?
Yeah,
I am
good
open
question.
to what is next. Something that's consistent, something that is moral.
Yeah,
Because that,
good,
sure.
I mean, why ruin your career now at
Absolutely.
51? Like, I've been doing this so far with no beefs with anybody, no problems with anybody, no scandals.
To your credit.
Because,
Where's the beef?
back in the day, they didn't have the cameras because, thank goodness, so there's,
Wow.
my
So,
wilder days, I don't
so
have
you're thinking maybe beyond YouTube, getting into a
YouTube it has been there, and I believe that I'm passing the torch to my daughter, who is just
all right.
really. She did videos yesterday. She wears the green lipstick when she does that, and she's
how old?
hello.
That's right. We didn't talk about how you trademarked green lipstick.
That part, I have the most famous look.
Come on.
Okay, you're like, okay, so
Looks
yes,
like we got to say goodbye.
GloZell Lynette Green.
this is the first
YouTube
time a
star.
whole name has been said. I do enjoy that, and I want to thank you too, and thank you, Miss Shelley.
Where are we going to find you?
And thank
Where does
you.
somebody find you on YouTube?
You're going to find me on all social media platforms.
Just GloZell.
GloZell. You can Google that girl with the green lipstick.
GLOW, ladies.
No.
No.
GLOZE.
Can y'all give him a paper with my name on it or
You
something?
just remember glow. That's all.
Glow.
that part.
Glow.
All right.
Well,
All right.
we'll see you next week.
Oh, grrr.